It's not
Free
gonna
will
work,
to
buddy.
follow demons,
It's
to
not gonna
test
work,
them?
buddy. Not gonna work, buddy. Because I see what you're trying to do. I
What
got
am
my
I
finger.
trying to do?
Oh, you're trying to build a straw man here.
What straw man?
Yeah. Okay. Yeah.
Which
Yeah,
straw man
just
am I
for all
building?
he just threw that out there to make
Bob,
it.
let him answer the question, please.
Okay.
Which straw man am I building?
This is gonna be my third, actually my fourth time saying this. David Weiser.
Which
He
straw
can't
man am I
answer. He
building?
can't answer the question. He
Can
just
you
throws shit out there.
no. Okay. So you guys don't want to hear the question then?
Which
Yeah.
straw man am I
This
building?
is exactly what happened last time. You guys bring me a challenge, I prove it to you, then you cause a straw man, and
You don't prove nothing.
Which straw man am I building?
I have proved it to you. You don't
Which
want me to
straw
show
man am I building?
but you don't want me to show it to you. That's the problem.
Which
That's
straw man am I building?
Yeah. Okay. Very obvious that you're playing a game here.
I see how you're not answering, JJ. That's very obvious. You don't know what you're talking about, and you just throw shit out there in the wind,
Okay, whatever you
hoping
say.
shit sticks.
Bob.
Sure, whatever you say. You ain't paying my bills. But the fact of the matter is, I'm willing to show you exactly what the passage says. But you guys don't want to see that. You guys challenge me to do that. So when I want to show it to you, you guys bring up another argument.
Here's the thing.
Is it finally
I
working?
love the games. I love it. Hey, we can play
Yeah,
these.
you're working realistic.
We can play these.
Yeah, we can hear you now. Here's the thing, VekL.
Yeah.
It doesn't matter
Games.
what the Bible says.
Ooh-wee. Now we're not even addressing
just
the
gonna-
same topic. Now we're talking about a whole different issue now.
VekL, what are you talking about?
No.
What? Just
They
No,
don't
we're
wanna
not.
hear
You're
it.
just
They don't
talking,
wanna hear
VekL.
the answer. They jumping from one subject to the next.
let's just recapitulate the issue.
No, JJ, just admit you don't want to hear an answer.
Hold on a second,
You
VekL.
gave me a
I
challenge.
asked you a question that you're not answering.
Halfway through me giving it to you, you jump to another completely different subject.
Just
I didn't
let's
do anything.
Yes, you did. Rewind the video.
Can anyone hear me?
I have a
Either
pretty
that
good
or you
memory.
honestly
Yeah, we can hear you. They're
Josh.
just talking over you. Why don't you guys give Realistic a second to say something?
Just
Yeah, go ahead. Go ahead. I'm having fun though. Go ahead. You guys having fun? I'm having a good time. Go ahead.
all right. So let's just calm down for a second and recapitulate.
I'm good.
So, VekL, what's the issue as you see it?
Right between myself and JJ or myself and David Weiser.
I don't know, whichever you want to start with.
Two different issues going on there. All right. Well, let me start off with David Weiser again. David Weiser is a professing Christian. Okay. But my problem with him is that he is saying that there are things in the Bible that are not true. Now, for instance, he's saying, and I've had this is based on a discussion I had with him in the past. He is saying that what happened in 1 Samuel 15, it wasn't God that commanded Israel to go kill the Amalekite children. And it wasn't just children, by the way. It was men, women, all the people. He's saying that wasn't God that commanded Israel. He's saying that was Satan. But my question is, how do you verify that when the text actually literally says that it was God that gave this command? So what is his response? His response is, God would never do that. But where is he getting that from? He's not getting it from the Bible. He's getting it from his emotion. And that's the problem. So look, we can have our emotions and say, I don't understand why God would do this. Okay, that's fine. I understand that people are going to have that opinion.
Well, let's just...
But wait a minute. Wait. But what I'm trying to say ultimately is that your emotions do not dictate what is true.
Okay.
We all agree with that, right? Your emotions do not dictate what is true.
Yeah.
Okay, I don't like atheism, but just because I don't like it, that doesn't mean that it doesn't exist.
Okay,
I think,
so
maybe what we would agree with is that his first answer was he would go and have his head checked by a psychiatrist.
And he did.
Yeah, that was his first answer.
Let's just focus
right
on the argument that VekL is rendering, right?
Okay, go ahead.
So what you're trying to say is that there is a specific interpretation of the text which attributes those actions to God, right?
It says right there. There's.
Right. So let's just answer the question. What you're saying is there is a specific interpretation of the text that attributes those actions to God.
I wouldn't say there's an interpretation needed. It's right there in bold text.
So
It's,
you don't think that you interpret text?
no, we have to interpret some things, but there's some things that just really need no
Texts,
scholarly interpretation. You just
texts
read it.
interpret themselves.
Like for instance, reading Dr. Seuss's Green Eggs and Ham.
Do
Uh,
texts
you need an interpretation for that? No, it just says, you know, yeah, I don't know what the book says about,
texts
memorize the book.
interpret
Sam, I am.
themselves?
Yeah.
Texts do interpret themselves.
Okay, so let me read this verse to you then, and you tell me.
I'm not interested in hearing a verse.
So are you trying to assert that I have a false interpretation?
I'm not asserting anything about your interpretation.
Okay.
I'm telling you that you have an interpretation of Scripture that attributes those actions to God.
Okay.
That's correct.
Right, because it says so right there in the text. You don't have
Right,
to.
because so you interpret
No.
text as being literal.
Okay.
Interpret.
When you say interpret, meaning that we're reading it and we're coming to a certain conclusion of what the author's intent is, or are we reading it exactly as what it says?
I'm sorry. Look, all I'm saying is that there are literal interpretations of words. There are figurative interpretations of words.
I agree.
There are interpretations of words that are codes.
I agree. I
There
agree.
are sarcastic interpretations of
right.
words.
That's right.
So what you're saying is you're going with some sort of literal interpretation. That is to say,
That's exactly it. That's exactly it. And here's the verse. It says, Samuel said unto
I don't
Saul.
care what the verse says.
Well, it's my turn to talk, though. Can I talk, or you want to go ahead and which monologue?
Well, I would rather actually focus on the argument.
But when are we monologuing? We dialoguing here.
Well, I would.
I'll wait. You go ahead and talk.
The
And
way that you're constructing the dialogue is not fruitful. So I'm trying to.
you go ahead and keep talking, and let me know when you finish. Okay.
Okay, I will let you know when I'm finished.
All right, go ahead.
So
Go ahead.
shut the fuck up, and I will let you know when I'm finished. All right?
Excuse me.
I said shut the fuck up, and I will let you know when I'm finished. Okay? So
And wait. First of all, you don't have to talk to me like that. Okay.
Apparently he does, because you don't listen.
you just said you weren't gonna talk
Go
until
ahead.
I
I'm
was done.
listening. I'm listening.
Okay, so stop talking. All right, there you go. Now, the way I want to construct the dialogue is such that it's constructive. I don't care what your interpretation is of any specific scripture. I don't care if it's literal. I don't care if it's not literal. What's at issue is merely that the fact that the verses are being interpreted. So I'm done.
Okay, so if the text actually says that it was God Himself saying these things,
Wait,
how else would you be able to interpret it?
wait, right? Because that's clearly begging the question.
Begging
You
the
can't say what you're supposed to be justifying is that the text says that. And when we say that the text says that, we're saying that that is the correct interpretation. You can't point to the text to interpret the text. The text doesn't interpret itself.
Well, you know what? I hope that the atheists that are listening to you say this are taking notes from you, because what we get a lot is a lot of arguments from atheists saying that the God of the Old Testament is this evil and yada 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 yada. Well, you know what? They have to apply that standard that you're trying to apply to themselves. So when they go outside of scholarship and read the text.
I don't see
Wait a minute.
the relevance
When they go,
of this.
wait. They got to hold themselves to that standard that you're trying to put on to me.
You're shifting the goalpost.
No, wait. No, I'm not. No,
Yes,
I'm
you are. It doesn't matter. Look,
No, I'm
all
not.
we're focused on.
Wait.
All we're focused on is the fucking argument. We're not focused on what atheists.
Hold
We're
on.
not focused.
Wait a minute. I'm not done.
I don't give a shit
I'm
if
not
you're
done.
done.
I'm not
I don't
done.
care if you're done.
I'm not done. Huh?
I don't give
It doesn't matter.
Well, you don't want to hear what I have to say.
No, I've already heard what you have to say. You're shifting the goalpost.
I'm not shifting the goalposts. I'm trying to show you the error of your comment here.
There is no error in my comment. You're pointing.
I'm going to show. Wait a minute. Can you let me finish, for crying out loud? Gee whiz. All I'm saying to you is that if you're going to put me to that standard, then you better put your atheist comrades to that same.
That doesn't matter.
Wait a minute. Wait. It does matter, because if we're going to talk about whether or not
Not in the context of this discussion.
Wait a minute. If a person is going to have a proper interpretation of what's being read, then everybody, according to you, should be held under that same standard. Correct?
VekL.
So wait. Hold on.
VekL. When I'm discussing these things,
hold on.
You asked me a question. Now shut the fuck up and let me answer.
Hey, wait a minute.
Shut the fuck up.
What are you going to do about it? Are you going to let me?
VekL, you just asked him a question, and then when he.
But I wasn't. It was a rhetorical question. It was.
It was a rhetorical question.
Yeah. You guys.
That's fucking useful.
Maybe you don't know what that is, though. That's why you jump to so many.
Of course we do. It's just not fucking useful for communication.
A fucking argument.
I would gladly,
whether or not, if I'm going to
have a public debate on this issue with any one of you.
If I'm going to have this discussion with other atheists,
you guys don't want to
bring up that criticism when I'm discussing it with other atheists.
Yeah.
You shut the fuck up and deal with the fucking argument.
We're just jumping from one subject to the next.
The interpretation is just the act of making sense out of any utterance.
Right.
So it doesn't matter if it's literal or not literal. You would still be interpreting.
That's a different subject, though, folks. Look, we're talking about. Look. If you're calling yourself a believer of God, okay, and you say that if you're calling yourself a Christian, let's just focus on Christian, all right. Upon what basis do you declare that Jesus is the Christ? Where are you getting this from?
Why are you changing the subject?
Wait. I'm using this as an example. I'm not changing the subject.
Jumping all over the place, VekL.
I'm not changing the subject. Wait a minute. I'm not changing the subject. I'm on to something.
Very scatterbrained.
I'm not changing the subject. There's a method to my madness. Trust me. All right. If you're calling yourself a Christian, upon what basis?
Having a method doesn't change the fact that it's madness.
If you're calling yourself a Christian, upon what basis are you making that claim? Based off of what? There has to be something outside of yourself, apart from your emotions, apart from whatever, that you're basing that on.
What?
Right? You can't be an atheist and say that you're a Christian. I mean, where? Do you understand what I'm saying?
I could call myself a Christian.
You could, but you wouldn't have a basis to make that claim.
Sure, I would.
If you're an atheist, you can't be an atheist and a Christian at the same time.
I can justify calling myself a Christian.
That doesn't work. No, you can't be an atheist and be a Christian.
Does that have to do with the argument?
The argument is this, because we're talking about David Weiser's position. Again, what he is doing is he is basing his interpretation of the text off of his emotions. His emotions is the basis.
Well, that's an appeal to motive fallacy right there, isn't it?
Exactly.
That's an appeal to motive fallacy, isn't it?
That's exactly his error. His error
so that's an appeal to motive fallacy. You're saying his interpretation is wrong because of his motivations. That's an appeal to motive fallacy, isn't it?
Man, you need to lay off.
Is that a fucking appeal to motive fallacy or not?
Decaf. But anyway,
you fucking dipshit. Is it an appeal to motive fallacy or not? Answer the goddamn question.
He does get pretty heated really quick.
Answer the fucking question.
But the problem is, if you are basing your emotion.
VekL, you're just stringing. All you do is string fallacies together.
There's no fallacy, fellas. Listen.
Nobody can have a discussion with you.
Or not.
Okay.
Do you know what an appeal to motive fallacy is?
I'm not going to answer that question until I finish my point. Okay. All I'm saying.
But you're not making a point. Because it's based on fallacy.
Because you're not listening.
So your point is useless.
Because you're not listening.
Your point is useless if it's based on fallacy. Do you understand that?
That's what people who don't listen will say.
No, that's what you say.
You're infamous for doing that, by the way.
That's what you're saying.
You're real bad about that, by the way.
Okay.
But
your words mean nothing.
Well, you guys don't have to believe anything I'm saying. You guys are, you don't believe anything Christians say anyway. But
VekL, answer the fucking question.
I'm answering the question right now. I'm saying to you ultimately that your emotions ought not to be the basis of truth. Okay, your emotions do not dictate what is true. And this is what David Weiser is doing with the Bible. He's looking at Old Testament text, all right, and he's saying that this is not God commanding Israel to do this because that is out of character. That's begging the question. So wait a minute. So where is he getting this idea that God is the way he says he is? He doesn't have anything to point to except his emotions. That is a fallacy. He's using his emotions to dictate what is true. And that's false.
Look, you haven't, all that argument that you've rendered is an appeal to motive, and that's fallacious. Just because someone uses their emotions to come to the conclusions that they come to, it doesn't mean that those conclusions are false. If I came to the belief that God exists just because I wanted to believe that God exists, just because my emotions don't justify that belief, it doesn't mean the belief is false. So that is an appeal to motive fallacy.
Okay, so you tell me then. So are you wrong because well why don't you believe in God? Why don't you believe in God?
I think the arguments against belief in God are persuasive.
Okay. So you don't know for sure there is no God.
Well, it depends on what type of God, but yeah, there are certain conceptions of God that I think are incoherent, and therefore I'm certain that don't exist.
Okay, but you don't really know that for sure, though.
Yeah, I do know that.
Nah, no you don't, because you don't have omniscient knowledge. You don't know if there is no God or not.
I don't need omniscience.
Yeah, you do. The only way you can make such a positive claim is to be able to back it up.
I don't need omniscience to know that 2 + 2 = 4.
No, you don't need that. But you do need omniscience to know that there's no such thing as a God.
No, you don't.
But if the conception of God entails logical contradictions, why can't he know that God doesn't exist?
But so what contradictions do you see in? You know what? Forget it. I don't want to talk about that. We're going into a different subject there, and we could talk about that. I don't have a problem. The problem is, yeah, okay, well, whatever. But anyway, the fact of the matter is, if we're going to use our emotions to dictate, to say that something is true or something is false because of my feelings, then don't you think that's a false conclusion?
Again, that is an appeal to motive fallacy.
Okay, but so all right, so it's wrong. So it's right to have your emotions be the standard of truth, then, to be the basis of truth?
It's not. Emotions are not a rational justification for a belief, but that does not mean, because they're not a rational justification for a belief, that the conclusions brought about by those emotions are false, right? You would need a rational justification to show how those beliefs are false. It can't be the fact that they were arrived at irrationally or even irrationally.
So what you're saying to me then, even if the text says one thing and David Weiser believes another thing based off of his...
Well, when you say the text says one thing, right, you're already begging the question. Because because you're assuming that your interpretation is the correct interpretation, which is supposed to be shown in the first place.
That sounds very subjective, and I don't think you have any means to...
It sounds subjective.
Why don't we do this? Why don't we read one single verse? One single verse, and then you tell me if my interpretation is incorrect, okay?
Hold on. Like I said, interpretation is the act of making sense of any utterance. And I take in proper interpretation to be getting at the original intent of authors. Now, it's possible to interpret any line of text an infinite number of ways, so you need some criterion in order to limit the number of possible interpretations to get to the correct interpretation of the text.
Okay. All right, I'll buy that. But you do realize that with that said, that there's also the possibility of people deliberately intending to deceive people, right?
What the fuck does that have to do with anything?
Okay, well, we're talking about different interpretations. You have some people who have interpretations that are sincere, then you have others who are doing this in order to deceive people, right? Is that not logical?
I don't understand what the relevance of the fact that there are possible interpretations of the text as being deceptive is. What's the relevance of that?
The problem is that you're trying to assert that interpretations could vary. Okay? And I understand, and I agree with that. Interpretations can vary. My interpretation of you're saying that my interpretation of what's happening in 1 Samuel 15 is not the same as with David Weiser's.
Obviously, we agree about that.
Okay, great. My assertion is that David Weiser is deceived because the text actually says that it was God himself who gave this command. David is saying that's a lie. So I'm trying to figure out upon what basis does he have to back up this claim? How does he back up this claim when the text actually says right there?
You can't say that the text actually says this. Because
it does.
That begs the question. And how many times I have to fucking tell you that? Right? He has an interpretation.
You are stretching, sir. You are stretching. You are straining at a net and trying to swallow a camel at the same time. Can I show you one verse? One verse, and then you tell me whether or not I have this wrong.
The verse doesn't matter. We're talking about.
It does matter.
We're talking about the argument.
Sir, look. If you're going to back up your claim, then I would like to see you substantiate that. You keep making these claims, but you're not substantiating any of it. So let's see if you can do that, okay?
The claim that I'm making is that you have one interpretation, right? And he has an interpretation, right?
Then prove it. Let's prove it.
Do you not
deny that you have?
You guys are both interpreting.
Let's put that to the test.
Do you guys not wait? Do you dispute the fact that you have a different interpretation than this wise man character? Is that what you're disputing? You fucking idiot! Is that what you're disputing? You're disputing that you interpret the text differently?
We are testing this, VekL. We are testing this.
Let's
are you disputing that you're interpreting the text, you fucking moron?
We are going to test it. We are testing this, VekL. Are you disputing? Are you disputing the fact?
Hold on.
We're going to put this to the test. We're going to put this to the test. Are you disputing the fact that you have an interpretation and he has a different interpretation?
Yeah. And let's put that to the test. Let's put it to the test. Right
we're testing this. Are you disputing the fact?
Hold on, just
disputing the fact
I'll let you finish.
You have one interpretation and he has a different interpretation?
All right, let's put it to the test right now. 1 Samuel.
That's the test. The test is the question. Are you disputing the fact?
I'm going to screen share it right now.
Oh my God.
That we can see it. It's just one verse, guys. Just one verse. I promise. There's a lot more I could read. I'd rather read, but I'm just, just because you guys are very impatient.
Doesn't seem like VekL is understanding what's at issue here.
He doesn't understand.
VekL, maybe I can try to explain.
That's what all the atheists say. But here's what the verse says. It says
he's not capable of fucking reasoning.
Here it is, right
here.
Shot
in the face. He's to be taken out back and beaten to death with a fucking stick with a fucking nail in it.
Yeah, VekL, the text you're citing is irrelevant.
That's insane.
The text you're citing is irrelevant to the issue.
All right, hold on, fellas. Hold on. Just bear with me. Just one verse. It says,
what are we bearing with, though?
All right, hold on.
It doesn't matter what it says.
Disturbing voice. Okay, am I reading one verse?
Beside the point.
You're not listening.
VekL.
Okay, wait, fellas. Hold on.
No reading. You're just not listening. VekL, you're not listening.
Wow, this is amazing.
VekL.
Yeah, it's amazing that you won't listen.
You're not understanding that what the text says
is amazing. I can't believe
it's amazing your lack of understanding.
Well, can I at least say my part first before you guys jump on my back, and then we'll take it from there, okay?
You're distracting from the actual issue.
I'm open to receiving
because you don't understand what is that issue.
So you don't want to hear the. So
you don't listen.
So you don't want to do this then.
VekL, it has nothing. Wait, listen. VekL, it has nothing to do with that verse or any other verse. It has nothing to do with the verse, but the people who are talking. VekL, it has nothing to do.
Wait. Give
me the time. It has VekL. It has VekL.
Wait, guys.
Listen, VekL
is irrelevant.
It has nothing to do with the verse.
Stop muting me, please.
VekL, then be quiet and let someone else talk.
Wait a minute, I was in the middle of saying something.
No, VekL, because
you're not saying anything, VekL.
You guys are doing the same exact thing you did last time. You're showing no respect at all, just because
VekL, you're
showing no respect, VekL, by your lack of understanding.
I'm trying to verify it. Can you at least let me say one thing, please?
Your attention deficit disorder.
Guys, let's let him make this small point, whatever. I agree he doesn't understand it. Let's just let him finish.
JJ, every time I'm in a discussion with you,
what the fuck is the point of that?
You immediately jump in and start cutting me off and not letting me finish. So I would appreciate it.
I think the point is that VekL is intransigent, so he just has to get through this, even though it's irrelevant. So I guess we have no choice but to let him waste our time with this.
Yeah, okay.
And we can explain why it's irrelevant.
Yeah. Unfortunately, this is how it works. A lot of
I tell you what. Since there's so many of you not wanting.
Read the fucking verse, VekL. Shut the fuck up and read the goddamn verse.
What you gonna do now? You wanna
so we can move on.
You wanna punch me?
VekL, get over it, VekL.
Just quit
get through it.
Read the
so we can move on.
He needs some He needs to lay off the caffeine. But anyway, 1 Samuel 15 verse 1 says, Samuel also said unto Saul, the Lord sent me to anoint thee to be king over his people. Over his people. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. Let me read that last part. Now therefore hearken thou unto the voice of the words of the Lord. He's basically saying, hear the words of the Lord. This is coming from God. That's all I'm going to read.
What is the point?
Okay, now.
And what is the point of that?
Yeah, I finished. Yes. All right. The point is.
Why are you making this? Why are you reading this?
Guys, this. Okay. That last part of that verse.
I'm listening. This is fun.
Kind
of funny though.
The last part of that verse.
You having fun? I'm having fun.
I guess we're never going to get to the point then.
That's often what happens with you.
All right, all I was going to say, fellas, that last part of this verse here says, now therefore listen to the words of the Lord. Now, this is Samuel, the prophet, relaying a message he received from God. This is what the text is saying.
So it's hearsay.
Now, can you tell me what other way can we interpret that this is from Satan?
It's hearsay. It's an interpretation from his own mind. It's not even from God. It's an interpretation.
That's the point.
Wait,
the point is,
like I pointed out earlier, you can interpret any utterance an infinity number of ways.
Okay,
so you need some criterion for limiting the number of possible interpretations, and the idea is to have a way of getting the original intent of the author. And in this, the original author was God, right? This is what God told Samuel. So how do you get to God's original intent in this verse?
All right, but we're not talking about the intent. We're talking about the who. And that's the problem between David Weiser and myself. David is saying that this is not God the Lord, but this is
not understanding.
Wait a minute. Guys, hold on.
I can interpret that as saying that the earth is spherical, right?
Wait. No, don't change the subject, please. Please don't change the subject. Stop.
You're the one who's
David is saying that, no, I'm not changing the subject. David is saying, wait, guys.
We're not talking about
guys.
But that's exactly what we're talking about.
No, this is what I've been talking about the whole time between myself and David Weiser. David is saying that this is Satan who's speaking. I'm saying that the text says it's the Lord. So
how do you know that Weiser is wrong and that your interpretation?
That's what I'm asking you. That's what I'm asking you. How do you know that he's right?
I'm just saying that it can be interpreted in infinity number of ways. It can be interpreted as Satan.
Okay,
how? Show how you know it's actually God.
How? All right, tell me. Help me out here. How, when the text says it was from the Lord, how can we possibly...
You're just question begging. You need to show us how you derive that interpretation.
You're begging the question. You're making a statement. You're not backing it up.
Like I said, text can be interpreted infinity a number of ways. So you need some criteria to limit the possible interpretations.
Okay,
and you're trying to get when you properly interpret the text, the idea is it's the original intent of the author.
Can you please, I beg you, give me an example of how verse 1 could be interpreted as Satan instead of the Lord speaking?
I just told you how it could be, and you're not listening.
No, you didn't. You said it could be. You gave me scenario. You didn't give me one example.
Is it false that anybody can interpret a text to mean anything?
Can you give me an example of how this can be?
Is it false that someone can interpret a text to mean anything?
So you don't want to answer the question?
Is it false that someone can interpret a text to mean anything?
Oh my goodness.
I don't understand why you aren't understand. I don't understand why you aren't answering the question, VekL.
Why can't you answer the question?
You're not listening, right? You said you aren't talking about intention, right? But that is what the meaning of the text is, the intention of the author. And so what interpretation is the attempt to understand what the intention of the author was by uttering those words, right? Or writing those words. So now the question is, if God is the author, right, on what basis are you able to rule out some interpretations as being inconsistent with God's intentions and rule in other interpretations as being consistent with God's intentions? Right? And you're saying that's not what we're talking about, but that's what all of us are talking about.
Why are you laughing?
I'm laughing because the utter flat-out stretches that you guys are going to try to make the text not say what it actually does say.
Well, what's wrong with what
I have to tell you that to say the text says this begs the fucking question.
It's absolutely amazing.
You don't seem to understand.
Don't beg the fucking question. This is so much fun.
You're begging the question of what the text means.
Oh my goodness.
And you don't seem to understand that.
But wait, you're telling me...
We're asking you not to beg the question of what the text...
I'm not begging any question.
Sure you are. You're saying the text means what it seems to mean in a literal interpretation.
Okay.
But that's begging the question of what the text actually means.
Let's keep this real simple, okay, for those who are not as...
I don't think it can be simple enough for you.
You're talking like you're not interpreting the text yourself or something.
I just read to you verse 1, and Samuel the prophet said that these words were from the Lord, all capital letters. Now, can you please give us an example of how we can possibly interpret this as from Satan instead of the Lord?
I just explained it to you, but you weren't listening. Anybody can interpret anybody can interpret any line of text.
That's what you're saying.
However they want to. Is that true or false?
That's not an answer.
No,
is
answer
that true
the
or
question.
False?
Yes, it's true, but you're not giving me an example.
Okay, so we need a criteria.
You're not answering the question.
Possible interpretations, don't we?
You're not answering the question.
So we need a criteria to limit the number of possible interpretations.
So you don't. So you know that there's no honest way to misinterpret this. Then that's what you're saying.
No, we need a criteria to limit the number of possible interpretations.
Okay, so what's the criteria to interpret it as Satan? Then what basis would you have? Because I can tell you what David Weiser's basis is, his emotions. What's yours?
No.
Well, you're saying his interpretation is wrong and yours is correct, and you're not telling us how yours is correct.
I didn't say that.
David's basis is that
emotion.
There could be deception. No, his basis is that
the
author could have been deceived.
It's emotion. JJ, stop that.
It's true.
Right before he left,
his basis is that
JJ, stop.
The author could have been deceived
you heard what he said.
By an angel of the Lord.
AJ, why are you lying? You heard what he said. You heard what he said before he left to hang out.
Can I be heard?
I'm not lying.
Yes, you are. You heard what he said.
Yes, I do, Josh.
He told you. You were asking.
Kind of quiet, Josh.
VekL, again, that is an appeal to motive fallacy.
Look, it's just amazing.
Do you understand what an appeal to motive fallacy is?
You already explained it to me, but the problem is I don't think you guys are being honest with David Weiser's position here.
So you agree that you're reasoning fallaciously then?
No, I'm not reasoning fallaciously. And what I'm trying to tell you...
I'm going to describe...
in order for David Weiser to verify his claim, he's going to have to use something apart from emotions, because emotions do not dictate truth.
Yes, he does not take it literally.
Yes, we agree on that.
He thinks that it's possible that the author could have been deceived, that it was not from the Lord, however you want to translate that, but from a demon, or an evil angel, or Satan, or whatever you want to call it. And his reasoning for that, yes, is his emotions.
Okay. And if that's what's his basis, fine. But if his emotions are what's going to dictate what the text actually, or the truth, then you can't really have an honest intellectual discussion.
There's nothing dishonest about it.
No. It's honest on his part because that's how he feels. But to tell people that this is not what the text actually says, and because I say so, is false. It's a false.
What the text actually says and the way it's interpreted can vary.
He's basing his interpretation off of his emotion rather than any scholarly method.
Well, you haven't given us your scholarly method.
Well, I haven't tried to yet. I'm trying to keep things
whether or not he's given you a scholarly method or anything like that. The only thing that matters is you justifying the claim that his interpretation is the incorrect interpretation. So you need to justify it. It's not justified in virtue of the fact that he came to the conclusion based on his emotions. I could come to the conclusion that there are ducks outside of my house on the basis of simply on the basis of the fact that I want there to be ducks outside of my house, and if there are in fact ducks outside of my house, it doesn't matter that it was an emotional reason that brought me to that conclusion. The only thing that matters is that the conclusion is true or that the conclusion is false, right? So again, this is just an appeal to motive fallacy, right? So you need to explain how it is the case that his interpretation is in fact false, and you haven't done that.
Okay, well, I hope you use that same standard to atheists to try to use the claim that God is immoral.
Stop changing the fucking subject.
No, I'm not.
Justify.
I'm not.
His interpretation is incorrect.
I'm not changing the subject. I want to stay on the topic. If I say
that his interpretation is incorrect.
If I say that there are ducks there are actual ducks outside my house, but I deny that that's the case because I don't like ducks. Okay, would I be in error?
Only because there's not ducks outside your house, but I can believe the Earth is a spheroid because it gives me warm, fuzzy feelings inside, but I would still be correct.
Okay. Let's use the scenario again. Let's say there actually are ducks outside my house. Okay, in reality, there are ducks outside my house, but because I don't like ducks, I deny that they're outside of my house. Okay, am I being true in my assertion?
You're just question begging against your opponent.
Okay, so you don't even want to address the scenario then. Okay.
Look, it doesn't matter how you come to the conclusion. What justifies that the belief is false is not how you came to the conclusion. What justifies that the belief is false is actually giving a rational justification for the falsity of belief. So if you say that I believe there are no ducks outside, and then we walk outside and I show you the fucking ducks, it doesn't matter how you came to that conclusion.
All right.
What matters is that I've shown you that there are fucking ducks outside, right? So if your belief is true, if your belief is false, it doesn't matter how you came to that belief. Right? We're asking for a rational justification that his interpretation is false. It's not a justification to say that he came to that belief on an emotional basis.
So with that logic, then, we can also say that when an atheist says that there is no God and they use that based off of their emotion, that's fallacious. Right?
No. Oh my God.
Why, that would be fallacious reasoning, but they could still accidentally be right that God doesn't exist.
Well, yeah, that's true. But your emotions do not dictate the truth. Okay, they ought not be the basis of what's true or what's false.
That's all nihilist is trying to tell you. It can't be that he's wrong because he's using his emotions.
No, I'm not saying that he's wrong because he's using his emotions. I'm saying that he doesn't have a basis that we can verify outside of his emotions. That's what I'm trying to tell you guys. He could say all he wants that it's
you haven't given us a basis at all.
But he can say all he wants that it was Satan. He's making assertions that it was Satan that gave this command to the Israelites.
Yeah, and you're just saying it was God.
Yeah, but how does he prove that though? That's what I want to know.
You're not supporting your position either.
But
how do you prove that it was God?
But I want to know how does he know?
Begging against him.
But I want to know how does he prove that it wasn't God? That's
how
what
do you prove it was God?
Well, he doesn't have to prove it anyway.
I like to think that I have a better argument because it says right there in the text that it was.
No, you did. You just question begged as your argument.
I didn't beg any question. I read the text. It says it was God Himself.
You're question begging that your interpretation is correct.
I'm not.
You didn't give us an argument for it.
I don't have any questions. I'm not begging anything.
We asked you, how do you know your interpretation is correct?
Right,
you're saying because that's what the text says, but that's based on your interpretation.
All right, for the simpletons like myself that are out there listening, on side, person A is saying that it was God who gave Israel this command. Person B is saying that it was Satan who was given this command. So now, how do we determine which one has it correct? Okay, so let's go to the text that's in question. The text actually says it was God that gave this command.
You're begging the question. You didn't show that it's God.
Hold on. Now that we got that out the way, we got person A saying it was God, person B saying it was Satan. The text seems to say that it was God. So now, how do we come to an objective basis to determine whether or not this is actually God or Satan? How do we do that?
That's what I'm asking you. That's what everybody's been asking you.
Okay. And my point is because it actually says so right there. This is what the way
that's question begging. You're just saying my interpretation is right.
So can you give me another scholar?
No, I'm not arguing with scholars. I'm asking how you can interpret the text.
So if the Hebrews write this word God and they make a deliberate distinction between the word the Lord and Satan, or the Lord and the devil.
But this is something that Samuel's relaying from God, so it would be God.
Hold on, because I'm trying to figure out how I'm begging the question here. If we're going by the text, okay, the Hebrew text, when it has the word Yahweh written there, right, which is only in reference to the Lord according to the biblical text, okay, and then we have another word for Satan, two completely different words in the Hebrew.
Except that
you're interpreting one word as God and one word being Satan.
Wait, hold on.
Except that Lord is never translated from Yahweh.
Yes, it is. Yes, it is.
I'm sure it's not. I'm pretty sure it's.
You've gone from question begging against.
No, wait.
Passage to question begging about individual words.
Fellas, hold on. If we're looking, we can both look at the Hebrew text and objectively see that the Hebrews made a distinction between Yahweh and the other word for Satan in the Hebrew. I forget what that word is.
That's based on your interpretation.
Wait, no, it's not. It's right there. There's a distinction.
You're interpreting the text in order to make sense of it, because interpretation is the act of making sense of an utterance.
You're lying. You're just flat out lying, man.
I said that the act of interpretation is making sense out of the utterance. You agreed with me, and then I said proper interpretation.
We're not talking about
it. Proper interpretation is where you get to the original intent of the author, and then you agreed with that. So I'm asking, how do you get to the original intent of the author, and you're not telling me. You're just questioning it.
Because you're not being honest. How? If we look at the Hebrew text, do we see two different words used for Lord and another word for Satan? Yes or no?
You're interpreting one word as being Lord and the other as being Satan.
Let me ask you the question again. Do we see different words used, one for Lord?
Just give us your criterion for interpretation, because it would apply to individual words just as much as it would sentences.
Al, can you answer the question, yes or no?
Just justify your position. You're not doing it.
Can you answer the question, yes or no?
I don't need to answer my questions for you to support your claim.
You don't say that because you don't want to. Because you know that there is, and you don't want to answer the question. You don't want to admit it. I'm trying to be objective here. We can obviously see there is a complete distinction between those. They're two separate words. One word for Satan and another word for God.
So
yeah?
The act of interpretation is making sense out of any utterance. You agreed with that,
How?
right?
How?
And so
How?
you agree with one utterance. You interpret one utterance as meaning God, and you interpret another utterance as meaning Satan. And we're asking you, what's your criterion for interpretation? And you're saying, because that's just what the text says.
How can you refute the position I just made just now? That the two words are different things.
You're not addressing anything that I'm saying.
You're deliberately avoiding everything I'm trying to tell you right now. Because you know that I'm right. You know
There's two words that have a different syntax. One you interpret as God, the other you're interpreting as Satan.
Okay, so but you can't disprove what I'm saying though, because it's right there in the Hebrew text. So what you have to do is you have to step outside of the text and try to come up with your own conclusion on what this word could mean or what it should mean, rather than going by what the actual text says itself. And this is why you're trying to use this as an argument, which is not working. I'm trying to get you to be honest here and to show me that there's a word for Lord and then there's a word for Satan. Yes?
You agreed with everything that I said, then you're denying the conclusion.
You're not addressing anything I'm telling you.
You agreed with everything I said about interpretation, then you denied the conclusion, and you don't show how my conclusion is disconnected from anything that I said.
How? You're not addressing a single thing I'm saying, and you're trying to win an argument.
Do you understand, VekL, that what an interpretation is the attempt to understand the meaning of a text, and the meaning of the text is given by the intentions of the author. So you can't appeal to what the text says, right, to establish what the meaning of the text is, right, unless you're able to introduce criteria that allow you to rule out alternate interpretations of the text. This has been now explained to you about 20 times, and you're not listening to what we're saying.
No, Jack, because you're not being honest in this discussion here. So, Jack,
stop with the not being honest business, okay? That's just total fucking bullshit. Stop telling us we're not being honest.
Well, if we're not being honest, then what we're saying must be false. How is anything we said false?
Can you give me an example of how the word Yahweh can be interpreted as Satan?
We already explained that to you. How is anything we said false? How is anything we said false?
You don't speak Hebrew, do you?
How is anything we said false?
Because you haven't verified anything. All you're doing is arbitrarily.
You're not listening to what we're saying. What we said is.
But you're not verifying.
Just listen. Just listen.
Wait a minute. Wait. You guys are making claims that I'm not answering your questions.
You said he didn't explain how, and I'm going to repeat for you how he explained it, since he's repeated it about 20 times. So listen to what he said, okay? I'm going to repeat
I've heard everything. You're not answering the question.
You said he didn't explain how. And I'm going to tell you how he explained how, since you obviously can't listen, okay?
Very dishonest here.
Listen.
Very dishonest.
What he said was that any text can be interpreted any way one wants. There's an infinity of possible. Excuse me, I'm not done.
So
There's
that's
an
the case,
infinity of possible. Excuse me, I'm not done. There's an infinity of possible interpretations available for any text. That's what Hal said. He said it about 10 times. Now, what he said after that was, in order to interpret the text correctly, you have to introduce criteria that allows you to rule out interpretations that are inconsistent with the intentions of the author. And he has been asking you, and Realistic Nihilist has been asking you, for you to give us your criteria that allow you to rule out alternate interpretations as inconsistent with the intentions of the author. That's what we've been asking you to do for about 20 minutes now, right? Yeah. Now, when are you going to answer that question?
As soon as you guys start being honest with what the actual text says,
stop with the accusation. We're not interested.
You guys are giving me. You guys are giving me standards that you yourselves don't.
What we're interested in
Wait a minute.
doing is showing us how we are reasoning
standards that you yourselves are not holding yourself to. That's what I find amazing.
What's wrong with anything that Angtrek just explained?
That's what I find amazing to me. Look.
What's wrong with anything Angtrek just explained?
Can we go back to the example I brought up before, please?
No. How is Angtrek wrong about anything he just explained to you?
Wait a minute. I just want to go back. Look, I'm trying to.
How is Angtrek wrong about anything he just explained to you?
We look at the text. It says Lord, right? Okay, now. I just want you guys to show me, based off of any other word in Hebrew, how we can possibly interpret this as it being Satan.
That was just explained to you. What was wrong with the explanation?
No. You didn't give me an example.
What was wrong with the explanation?
The explanation is based on hearsay. It's not giving me any example.
No. Tell us.
I didn't say anything about hearsay.
All you guys are you're not giving me. Okay, here's what you're not doing. You're not proving that my position is wrong. That's what you're not doing. All you're doing is
we're not trying to
nobody knows anything. Nobody knows
we're asking you
actually
to
right
justify.
That's pretty much what I'm hearing from you guys.
We didn't say your interpretation is wrong. We're saying how do you justify your interpretation?
I didn't say that you did say that. I didn't say that you did say that. I'm saying that all I'm hearing from you guys is we don't know who has the right interpretation. That's all I'm hearing from you guys.
We're just asking you how do you justify your interpretation.
And I'm asking you, how do you claim that I'm false about my conclusion?
We didn't say your conclusion is false. We're saying how do you know it's true?
I'm begging a question.
We didn't say it's false. We asked you how you know it's true.
Okay, and this goes right back to my scenario, okay? The reason why I am claiming that my position is true because the text actually refers to God. It says God.
How was the explanation Angtrek just provided you wrong?
Stop. Now, I'm saying that the text actually says it's God, which it actually does. David is saying it's not saying that it's God, even though it does say God. He's saying that it's Satan. So now, I'm trying to get you guys to be honest with me based off what the actual text itself says, never mind what we interpret it.
When you say that's what the text says, you're question begging because you need a criteria for interpretation.
Does it not say the Lord? Wait, does it not use the word Lord there?
You're interpreting that as meaning Lord and not just the letters L-O-R-D.
Oh my, are you really being this honest here?
What was wrong with the explanation that I provided and what Angtrek provided and what Nihilist was trying to explain to you?
Stop. Do you not see the word Lord there in the text?
Just to say how our explanation was wrong.
Let's keep this real simple.
If our explanation's not wrong, nothing you say gets off the ground. So how is our explanation wrong?
How do we not see the word?
Let's address what was said to you.
How do we not see the word Lord?
What was said to you?
How do we not see the word Lord there?
Just address what was said to you.
How do we not see the word Lord there?
Just address what was said to you.
So you don't want to address it?
You address what we were saying first.
It's a perfect example of the many stretches that some atheists would go to in order to
explain how the explanation.
There are really simple things just like this.
You obviously can't justify your interpretation of the text. We've asked you about 20 times to justify your interpretation of the text. And
I've already justified it, folks.
No, you haven't justified it.
Yes, I have.
The
problem is that you guys
all
are
you've done is
weird scenarios, and you're making
what
stuff
the text means.
The text actually says Lord right there. Hold on, let's address what we actually both see. Hold on.
Doesn't justify that is what the text means.
Let's actually address what we both see.
Over and over again to us.
This is
what you think.
Let's actually address what we both see in the actual verse. The actual verse uses the words capital L, capital O, capital R, capital D. Okay, we both see that. Now, from that point on, we have a discussion on whether or not
even recognizing those as
God is speaking in reference to God, or is it speaking in reference to Satan himself? So now that's where we have to, start the debate.
And
so there's no debate that the word Lord is actually there in the text.
All right, hang on. VekL keeps whining about this word Lord. I put a link in the side over there where there's a list of very technical I can't even say it yet. I'm so just variations between majority text and tectus, preceptus, and critical text. Okay.
And the example.
Now listen.
The example that VekL listed.
I was still talking, people.
Sorry.
Now in this, they have a list of stuff that's been left out of the Bible, the King James Bible, stuff that's been omitted, stuff that's been changed. So if there's stuff that's been omitted and changed in the King James Bible, how do we know that word Lord hasn't been omitted or changed or added?
Bob, I would love.
That's a separate issue.
I know, but that's his issue. That he keeps complaining about this word Lord, and we're supposed to accept the word Lord.
Bob, I don't have a problem addressing.
And I'm trying to.
Bob, I don't have a problem addressing that. I love that topic, but it is a different issue, though. But let's agree to this, Bob. If we look at verse 1, do we not see the word Lord used there in verse 1? Yes or no?
And the word Lord is used by Samuel, which is. Second hand. It's not actually from God. It's second hand. It's
one thing at a time.
But that particular verse is translated from.
Hold on, Bob. We do agree. Let's forget about interpretation for right now. We do first things first. We do see that the word Lord is used in verse 1. Yes.
That's what somebody wrote in that book of imagination. Yeah.
Okay. All right. Now from that point on, we have a legitimate argument from that point on.
We gave you a legitimate criticism.
Wait. Hold on.
All you said is what we're saying is a stretch.
Hold on a second. Unless you're a solipsist.
You didn't show what was wrong with the criticism, and this has nothing to do with solipsism.
Hold on a second.
With interpretation.
Hold on. Wait. Stop. We all agree that in verse 1 that the word Lord is used.
Address the criticism that was levied against you.
Okay. We all agree that the word Lord, as I just posted on the screen.
I'm not going to grant you anything until you give me the criterion for interpretation. You didn't.
I'm not
say
sure
what was
VekL
wrong
knows
with
what
the
criterion is.
All right.
I don't think he understands what the objection.
Wait. Can we? I'm trying to go for
he
one
just
thing.
isn't willing to listen to what we're saying.
Do we all
this
see
a million
that word
times,
Lord?
right?
Hold on a second. We all see the word Lord used in verse 1, correct?
We've asked you to justify
Let me just
what that word is.
With me?
Right?
Bob
Doesn't
hardly
matter
ever
whether
agrees with me on anything.
I didn't agree with you. I just said that's the word that's written there.
Asked you.
Our criticism applies to individual words as much as it does complete sentences.
Can you guys prove to me that the word Lord is not in verse?
Thank you.
Let me just interrupt here for a second. VekL, you understand the criticism.
Can you guys please just answer the question?
Let me see if you understand the criticism.
No. I want you to honestly answer the question first. Because I was on to something, and every time I ask a simple question, very simple.
You're asking the question in order to dodge the criticism.
I'm not dodging. I'm not. You
then
guys
answer the criticism if you're not dodging.
I just want to figure out.
Receive the criticism, but first, I just want to start off real simple before I recognize if I'm in error or not. So let's start off with something.
In order to know whether or not you're in error, you would have to have a rebuttal to the criticism.
But you're gonna have to point it out first, though. You haven't been able to point it out. You're making assertions, but you're not really verifying.
What was wrong with the argument?
I just want to figure out if you understand the criticism, because if you understood the criticism, you wouldn't be asking this question.
You guys are not understanding my point, though. That's the problem. And I don't think you understand the errors that you're making.
No, you're saying it means Lord because that's what it says in the text, and we have a criticism against your interpretation, and you're not addressing the criticism.
He's not going to because he realizes if he admits to it, then his interpretation could be wrong, and he don't want to admit to that.
Oh no, I admit my interpretation could be wrong. The problem is that not a single one of you have any means to verify that position.
And neither do you. So let's move on.
But here's one thing I can verify, though. Here's one thing I can verify.
For a second.
Hold on. This is one thing I can verify. Right here, if you look on my screen, it says the Lord, right? So let's start there. Are the words
you're question begging when you
Wait a minute. Are the letters L-O-R-D there in the text? Let's start off there.
You're interpreting those as letters.
I'm done.
Just address. You can laugh all you like.
Just address
addressing the criticism.
I am so done. You guys.
It's just pathetic.
The absolute absurdity.
VekL.
Oh my goodness. Goodbye, guys. I'm done. Woo-wee.
You couldn't answer the criticism.
What a fucking moron.
Now what?
He just needs to be pummeled endlessly.
Well, Arcane's and Nadia's other hangout if you want to go over there and beat on him for a while.
God, I fucking hate him.
I got him blocked, so I couldn't even go over there if I wanted to. I hate him too.
Why would you block him?
Because of the shit he says out of his mouth.
Oh.
The bigoted and racist shit he says. The hate he says. I don't want to listen to it.
What racist shit does he say?
Well, it's been a while for he says the bigoted stuff about fags and all kinds of stuff like that. It was last year. I mean, it was only one time. He said something about white people and that, and then I'm not sure, but I don't think it's true. But I'd have to watch it. Somebody says he's anti-Semitic, but
who are you talking about? Sorry, I got disconnected.
Arcane. But yeah, he's the major point. He's a bigot. He's an idiot, and you know, he's just hateful.
Oh, good. Gus is here.
Wow, I can't believe how stupid and dishonest VekL is. It's just mind-boggling.
Yeah, he said what we were saying was a stretch, but he couldn't explain how. All he could say is it says it right there in the text.
He doesn't understand it.
Well, he did understand, but he can't admit it because if he admits it, then he has to admit that his understanding is
Bob, whatever the fuck road you're going down, it's totally he doesn't understand shit.